What's up, it's you for today's video with a full Shieldon evolution team. So we've only got two Pokemon today. We got Shieldon and we've got Bastiodon. I'll be using the shiny versions and the normal versions to make up a team of 4. This was a difficult team to do due to all the 4 times weaknesses, with fighting and ground being the main ones that are used like very, very commonly. If you do want to check me out on Twitch, people, this is where I do all my theme teams, Pokemon sweeps, all the forms of Salty Entertainment. Links in the description of the video. Let's get into both these battles, and they were actually really, really good ones. Now, the first battle here, this is going to be against Chris, and of course, this is on Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, because this is the only place where I can use Shieldon and Bastiodon in the current generations. So this was a rather interesting set, this one, on the Shieldon. We've got Metal Burst, Protect, Taunt, and Stone Edge. The EV spread is just going to be max attack, and that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted it to be. And we've got Brave Nature. I've got the ability Sturdy and the item Custard Berry. Now, we had this Lucario setting up sword dances against me, and as you know, any fighting type move is going to decimate my entire team. So I was a little bit worried here. I absolutely had to get rid of this Lucario like super fast. It's going to go for a Meteor match. It's obviously going to take me all the way down to my Focus Sash. Sorry, not my Focus Sash, my Sturdy. I mean, they both pretty much do the same thing. And Metal Burst is going to one-shot the Lucario there. What does Metal Burst do? It's very, very similar to Mirror Code and Counter. However, it's not a negative priority move, and it only does 1.5 times the damage. But that was still enough to take out the Lucario, which is great. Next Pokemon is going to be Alakazam. This is actually really, really good. So it's like, well, I can get my Custard Berry activation, which is great, and now I can go for a Stone Edge, and hopefully it'll do some like good damage. And it does. Alakazam hits very, very hard by that. And Alakazam, instead of attacking me, well, it does attack me, but it uses Future Sight. So I was like, okay, they're possibly thinking about my next incoming Pokemon and are going to take out my Shieldon here. I don't really want my other Pokemon to take another hit, so I'm going to go for Protect and try and stall it out. So at least, you know, Shieldon goes down instead of one of my other Pokemon. Alakazam is going to go for a Teleport, so it's teleported itself out of this matchup, and Vespiquen is going to come in. It's like, okay, Vespiquen, they know that I've got Stone Edge. This is going to be interesting, but Vespiquen is going to be able to outspeed me, and it's going to take me out with a Fell Stinger. So that was their plan, to wait for my Shieldon to obviously use up its item, if it did have one, and take me out with a Fell Stinger and get a +3 in attack. So this is very, very dangerous. I have to take this out now. The good thing about the Shieldon evolution line, when facing something like Vespiquen doesn't really have a lot to hit with unless it's got something like Earth's Power. That's about it. So I've got a Rock Polish, Iron Head, Stone Edge, and Earthquake Bastiodon set. Bastiodon's offensive stats are really not the greatest in the world, I'll be honest with you. So it really does lack the ability to do a lot of damage, outside of having like really, really powerful items on it, like Weakness Policy. That would have been great, but as you know, I can't have Weakness Policy in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, of course, Everlight either. So we got the Vespiquen going for a Defender there, making itself bulky. I do have Stone Edge on this. That was my only move I can really go for here. It's going to land, and that's going to one-shot the Vespiquen, even with the, obviously, the Defender up. That horrible 4 times there, destroying Vespiquen. Now, the next one to come out is going to be Alakazam. With the Rock Polish up on this Bastiodon, the EV spread, by the way, is max speed, Jolly Nature. I had to give it Jolly Nature because its speed is still slow with Jolly. Like, normally I'd like to give it Adamant Nature, but man, it just isn't fast enough. Like, you can even get outspeed with Jolly. That's going to be the end of the Alakazam, which is great. Next Pokemon is Garchomp. I was very, very scared of this. I was like, what can I even do to this? So, do I try and flinch with Iron Head? If Iron Head flinch fails and it's got rough skin, and then takes me out of Earthquake, that's it. You know, Bastiodon will only be able to launch one attack, so maybe it'll be better to go for Earthquake here, so at least then I can get 2 Earthquakes off rather than a 1. And my item is actually Lychee Berry too, so once it puts me down sturdy, Lychee Berry activate and give me a +1 in attack. This is interesting, great. So I went for Earthquake, got some okay damage, I guess. Garchomp uses Dig. Now, Dig actually has an interesting mechanic behind it. If you're dug underneath the ground and you use Earthquake against it, it actually does more damage than normal. Like, it makes sense, right? So imagine you're underground and it was an Earthquake. You know, obviously you're going to get a little bit more wrecked when you're above the ground. So going for Earthquake here, there's no Pokemon there, but look at that damage difference. You can see it. Even with that, that extra base damage there on the Earthquake, it's still not enough to take out the Garchomp. Sturdy is going to kick in here, and I'm going to get my Lychee Berry. So, like, I wonder if I can take Garchomp out here. I was still a little bit doubtful. I was thinking, well, I'm probably going to need an Earthquake crit here. Let's be honest, because if you've seen the first damage I did with the Earthquake, it's probably not going to be quite enough. So going for Earthquake, hoping I take it out. Unfortunately, Garchomp is going to be able to take me out with a Crunchy and survive my Earthquake. But it was a pretty dang good effort there by my Bastiodon. Now, I've got one Shieldon left, and I've got one Bastiodon. So I was like, okay, I have to go into Bastiodon here. Will they go for another dig again? But maybe they'll think, maybe they won't, because I might have Earthquake again, right? This is actually a special set. I've got not Rock Polish. I've got Ancient Power, Rest, and Flash Cannon and Flamethrower. They're going to go for Crunch. Obviously, that was their safest play there, and Flash Cannon is going to finish off Garchomp. This Bastiodon was pretty interesting. Most of the battles it got destroyed in, but I had a couple of battles where Ancient Power absolutely popped off there and got a lot of boost. Next Pokemon is going to be Roserade. The funny thing is I've got Flamethrower on here, so that should be really good for, well, the best move I can do, I guess. And now Roserade's going to go for a Sweet Sense. So they're obviously trying to land a not very accurate move against me, whether it be Sleep Powder or something like that. So firing off my Flamethrower is the best I can really do here. I've got on this set, Chesto Berry, ability is going to be Sturdy. I've got Max Health and Max Special Attack, Modest Nature. And it doesn't really hit all that hard, I'll be honest with you, So Roserade's going to go for a Giga Drain. Like, okay, that's obviously not their low accuracy move they were using a Sweet Scent for. So it is going to get some health back there, but Bastiodon is going to, it's pretty tanky Pokemon when you don't have a 4 times, super effective move hitting. It's got some very, very nice defense and special defensive stats. So Flamethrower is doing more to the Roserade than it's recovering back with Giga Drain. So things are going very good at the moment for Bastiodon. Now Roserade is going to go for Leech Seed. So Leech Seed is not the greatest actually move out there. So that was definitely going to land thanks to the Sweet Sense. So go for another Flamethrower here. Will it be enough to take out the Roserade? It just was. So I'm like, okay, this is good. This is very, very good. Now, there's one more Pokemon left. And this Pokemon is going to be Blissey. Like, oh, no. So, Blissey, if I could swap out here, but I don't want to because I got an idea to take this Blissey out. I know there's no way I'll ever be able to take it out with my Bastiodon, a special set, right? Now, Blissey's going to go for Minimize, and this is very bad because it's going to be really, really hard to hit, and it's going to be able to get, max minimizes up, even if I swap right now, My other set takes a lot of time to set up too, so this is going to be dicey, right? The thing about this is I was trying to get a burn with Flamethrower. I thought that'd be handy for my last Pokemon. Not in this case, really, because the Leech Seed is healing up the Blissey as it keeps going for, minimize over and over. So Blissey's pretty much going to be at max evasion. And I was kind of curious what other moves it had. I had to think here right here. Well, I'd say it probably have Softball. Normally, every single Blissey set has Softball, right? So it needs to heal itself. What are the other moves actually going to be? Maybe it's got something like, I don't know, like a stalling set. I don't really know because most of them are going to be stalling sets, right? And they're very, very bulky with health and on the special defensive side. Makes it almost impossible for you to do any damage. So the other move was Last Resort there, but since it failed, that tells me they've got another move there. So like maybe they don't really have anything to hit me with. And their other move was this Arming Voice. So Bastiodon was pretty much a great wall for this Blissey, but since the Blissey had that Leech Seed, obviously that's why the Roserade did it earlier on, it was actually able to get around my Bastiodon. If there was no Leech Seed there, I think I probably would have it probably would have gone to the timer, right? Okay, last Pokemon that we got is the Shieldon, and this, as usual with these evolution teams, I like to use all of the abilities. So the other ability that these evolution line gets is Soundproof. I was like, well, this is going to be pretty useless, and Soundproof activated on Disarming Voice. Oh, I mean, when you think about it, I'm trying to think off the top of my head now, what sound moves would actually be effective for, Bastiodon and Shieldon? The only thing I can really think of is like Liquid Voice, like one of those moves. That's about it. Like, I really can't think of any other sound-based moves that would be really good against a Bastiodon or a Shieldon because of their typing, right? Bug bars, those sort of moves, they're not going to do very much. Anyway, let's get on to what this Shieldon set is because there was a little bit of setup required to actually do any damage here. So at the moment, Blissey, it can't touch me at all. The best move it's got is Disarming Voice, which is not going to work, and Last Resort, which is going to be a very, very weak move here. And there's no Leech Seed up on the field to heal up the Blissey and do damage to me at the same time. But since I've only got one attacking move, and it's actually quite an inaccurate move, I was really, really scared with Iron Tail there whether I was actually going to be able to land just one, And I needed to make sure if I did land one Iron Tail, I'd have to land it at its highest base power. So I had to get 6 of these curses up. Now, the EV spread we've got on the Shieldon, The ability is soundproof. The item is apricot berry. We've got max health and max special defense, and I gave it, I think it was just sassy nature. So the apricot berry, what that does, it boosts my special defense by 1 stage when I'm at a quarter health or lower because there's no Everlight. So I thought, well, that's pretty handy, you know, after all those curses, Shieldon will be really bulky. And then on the special side, I can, you know, maybe increase that a little bit more. I could have run leftovers on this set. That could have worked too, but I felt with having no Everlight in the game, that was going to be my best bet because I did have rest to heal myself anyway. So that was the idea of the set. So we're down to 1 more curse. I've used 5 of them already. This Blissey can absolutely do nothing, but if this goes to the timer and the Blissey's got more health, right? So I will lose if I don't take this Blissey out, even though it's doing no damage. And I know that it's got softball, I will lose. So I have to do some damage. Like, I have to land an Iron Tail. That's the only thing I can do here. So I've got my 6 curses up here. I'm good to rock and roll. And there's a little bit of time left. I feel like I've got about 5 or 6 minutes. Blissey can't do anything. Iron Tail lands on the very, very first go. Like, you wouldn't read about it. And that's the battle. Blissey got dropped. That's great. That's some crazy luck right there. Thank you, Chris, for the battle and some interesting sets right there. I can't believe it did. Now, look at that glitch there. This is the second battle. Did you see that 0 seconds glitch? I got to explain that in a second, but that was a crazy battle, that one. Next battle, this is against Skylar. I had a battle before this, right? I just figured this one out. As I was doing some battles. I had a battle that went to the 20-minute timer. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Then I had this battle, but the 0 seconds remaining actually remained at the start of the battle after the first Pokemon was thrown out, which is, I don't know, it's like some bug or glitch or something like that. It was interesting. So I was like, wait, we only just started the battle. How can the timer be 0 seconds? You know, it's quite funny. So that's why that popped up for. I did a little Twitter post about that. It was kind of interesting. So it's awesome new quirks to find in the new games. So we got a Smeargle lead here. This is a Sticky Web Last Resort Smeargle. It's pretty interesting. I like it. The only bad thing here is Smeargle is completely walled by my type here. And my team isn't really that fast, so I'm guessing this is probably more of a useless Pokemon on their team. However, there was a theme team going on here, and I wonder if you can guess what it is. Like, let it below in the comment section, let me know. I actually guessed it after a couple of Pokemon came out. And as usual, people, if you like the theme teams, please drop a like on the video. I really appreciate it. And, you know, big shout out to all the people who've been, dropping likes and leaving comments. I really appreciate it. And, you know, I always have my breakfast each morning, and when I have my breakfast, I always read over all my comments for that day and stuff like that. So it's sort of like I guess you could say a morning ritual. I always like to see people's comments and stuff like that, their thoughts on the video and just, and just random stuff. It's fun. So we got a Golduck coming out here. This was scary, right? Because this Golduck, no, it was like super bulky for some reason. Not that Bastiodon's offense is really anything to write home about, but I was like, what is this? What's going on with these EVs? So it's got Water Gun, and it like, real talk, look how much Water Gun is doing to me. It's doing a lot of damage, so I don't want to get swept by Water Gun. Like, I won't be able to live that one down. So I'm trying to get a boost here with Ancient Power. It's one, it's doing no damage, and 2, it's really the only other move I can use because Flash Cannon's not very effective, and either is Flamethrower. Sure, I could try and chance a special defense drop with Flash Cannon, but there's not really much point. It's better off trying to go for a Ancient Power boost, right? So we're going to go for another Ancient Power boost here. I'm hoping I can get one and then, possibly go for a rest here. So this Golduck is virtually taken only a little bit of damage considering how many attacks I've actually done to it. And I'm thinking that I might be able to get one more off here, but, I've only got one more Ancient Power left. So here it comes, another Water Gun, and Bastiodon is going to get fainted by Water Gun. I absolutely got destroyed there. There was nothing I could do. Poor Bastiodon. So, the next Pokemon I'm going to be bringing here, I'm thinking, well, my other Bastiodon, my physical set, that's really all I can do. I could bring in my Metal Burst Shieldon, that might be a thing. So let's use that one up first, like I'm kind of scared of this Golduck, right? And it's got a mean move with Water Gun, but it's so bulky, So I've got Protect. I pretty much know the Golduck's going to go for another Water Gun. And here it comes, right? Water Gun doesn't really do as much as I'd hoped there. So it sort of messes up, it definitely messes up the amount of damage that Metal Burst is going to do, right? Like, even if that did, like, a scrap of more damage, I would have been able to take the Golduck out. Of course, moves like, a Metal Burst bypass all, like, defensive, stat boost and everything like that. So here comes another Water Gun, and that is going to be the end of my Shieldon. I'm getting destroyed by a Water Gun duck at the moment, which is not very nice, I can tell you that. So I've got my physical Bastiodon. I was like, okay, it's time to set up against this thing. So I've got Bastiodon, I could use Rock Polish here. That might help me out against the other Pokemon. Because there are a couple of other Pokemon left, you know. I've only dealt with one Smeargle with Last Resort, and that wasn't, you know, that definitely wasn't the best Pokemon on their team, for sure. It's probably, I'd say it's probably the least threatening. So I've got Rock Polish to use, and then I can go for Stone Edge. I was like, maybe I could just go for Earthquake, because I don't really want to miss in this case, right? So I was like, okay, let's go for the Earthquake. There's not much point going for Rock Polish, because Sticky Web is down, so let's be real, I'm going to have to go for 2 Rock Polishes to actually do anything. So I went for Earthquake, and it still lived. This thing is so tanky. So apparently, this Golduck was max defense, so that's why it lived it so well. I was like, what is going on with this set? So I'm thinking, well, I could go for a 2 Rock Polish here, but I just want to, at this stage, I just want to get rid of it. I don't want to get swept by Water Gun, right? So Bastiodon has taken heavy damage from Water Gun, only on People on Channel, and I can go for a second Earthquake here, and finally Donald Duck is going to go down. Man, that was such a, that was a threat, right? When you have to know this, right? When a Golduck with Water Gun is a threat, you know you're running a pretty bad team. So next Pokemon is going to be Skitty here. I was like, well, let's go for a Stone Edge, right? What can Skitty actually do to me? So it's going to clap my cheeks and go for a Fake Out and do like, I don't know, 3 or 4 damage to me, which is fine. I'm going to get a flinch. And I'm just going to go for Stone Edge again here, because Stone Edge is going to be my best bet. I still feel that I can take this out or do heavy damage. Now Skitty's going to go for a Double Edge here. The good thing is I'm going to be able to resist that. So the Smeargle and the Skitty really couldn't do a lot of damage to me at this stage. However, the Skitty has actually put me in range for Lychee Burst. Like, okay, this is good. I'll definitely be able to take the Skitty out in one shot if it lands, and it did. And that is going to be the end of the Skitty. So bye-bye Skitty. So we've taken out Smeargle, Golduck, and Skitty, but Golduck, man, that was a threatening Pokemon. Outcome's unknown, but what type's it going to be? You never know with unknown. It's very unknown. So I can go for, not an Earthquake, because I'll get destroyed by Levitate. Let's go for the Stone Edge again. Here comes Hidden Power. It's not very effective. It turned out to be Hidden Power Psychic. It's walled. I went for the Stone Mist, and it landed and took the unknown out in one shot. So suddenly, I've clawed my way back into the game, right? So there's 2 more Pokemon left. We got Furret. Like, okay, another normal type Pokemon. So I can go for a Stone Edge again, but obviously Furret will be able to outspeed me and take me out anyway, right? So Furret's going to be a special set. It's going to go for Flamethrower. So okay, that's fine. Bastiodon at least got me back into this game. Now I still have the bulky Curse Shieldon to go, so I thought, well, I can set up here. I know that I can probably easily tank all of the Furret's attack, unless I get really unlucky with something like that. I don't know what other moves it's got at the moment, so I wasn't really like, oh, well, I can definitely take this one out, you know? You never know sometimes, right? Especially with, RNG and stuff. So here comes the Flamethrower, and I was like, I should be able to take this easy, and I did. I took it pretty well, but that was a crit. I was like, okay, that's fine, you know? If that was a worse attack from Furret, we're good. So I can essentially set up as many curses here as I need to, and then go for a rest. And then I just have to hit my Iron Tails there. Like, look at Shieldon's tail. Like, just look at it, right? You wouldn't want to get hit by that tail, right? So go for another curse here against the Furret. Furret's going to go for Thunder this time. Thunder's got a little bit more base power, and I might get paralyzed here. So that's probably the best play they can do at the moment. And no paralyzed. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Let's say even if it does paralyze me, I could probably always go to sleep. But I just don't want to get paralyzed while I'm setting curses up, because you know what happens, right? You can get that nasty luck when you get paralyzed like 2 or 3 or like twice in a row or something like that, and then you get critted on the last hit. That's happened to me so many times. Like, I'm not even joking, right? So here comes another Thunder from Down Under, and I could probably live one more, so I'm going to need to go for a rest this turn. Absolutely. Looking at how much health I've got on my Shieldon, I don't think I can live a critical hit from Thunder, but landing the Thunder and getting a critical hit would be very, very lucky here, especially on Shieldon. Then again, I think I might be able to live a crit. It's going to be like, it would be super close, right? So here comes another Thunder. That's like 3 in a row right now, and Shieldon is going to live on 17 health there. So I'm going to eat my Apricot Berry, which is great. That's only going to help me out against the Furret because it boosts my special defense one stage, and now Shieldon is going to go for a rest. It's not often you use a berry like Apricot Berry, you know, so sort of like I don't know, it's like a very, very underused item. Like, I sort of had to scrape the bottom of the barrel and, you know, use what I could, you know what I mean? So here comes another Flamethrower from the Furret. Obviously, at the moment, the Furret doesn't want to swap out. So their last Pokemon obviously doesn't want to swap into Shieldon. I was curious why, but I don't know at this stage, but you'll find out. So Furret is going to keep attacking me. I'm going to keep sending the curse up. So at this stage, I'm confident that I can take this Pokemon out and the next Pokemon out with Iron Tail, but I have to land it. That's the only drawback there, but I feel like it's going to be fine. Because even if I miss let's say I miss a couple, I can still heal and I can still use it, right? Now, Farret's going to go for another Thunder here. It landed a lot of Thunders in this matchup, I have to say. The good thing is I can't be paralyzed because, my Shieldon is sleeping at the moment. So going for another sleep talk here. I think the first time I got rest or something like that. And wait, no, this time I got rest. I mean, it happens, people. It happens. At least I healed myself up. You got to look at the positives in mind, right? So I'm ready to go for Iron Tail now. I've got a couple of curses up. Like 4 or so. I think I got 4 or 5 up. I'm trying to remember what the sleep talk ones I got. Thunder is going to miss. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to get a Iron Tail off against a Farret. It doesn't take it out. And now Farret, it's got a berry as well. And it's going to have a Potato Berry. So that Potato Berry is now going to equal my Apricot Berry's boost. So that boost really isn't going to come into effect. So Farret is now going to go for a Thunder. Obviously try to get some damage and probably low-key trying to paralyze my little Shieldon. And Iron Tail lands twice in a row to take out the Farret. It's like, okay, good, that's gone. Now the last Pokemon here is going to be Zangoose. Now, Zangoose, if it does have a fighting move, I should do all right. I know it's very, very weak. It's like, I should be okay here. What I'm going to do, if it does have a fighting move, I'm just going to go for Iron Tail, because I'm quite confident it should be able to take it out in one shot, or do a heavy amount of damage. And I've got 6 curses. So the Zangoose actually turned out to be a final Gambit set, right, with no attack EVs. And watch what happened. So the Zangoose went for a close combat. I was like, okay, I'm dead, right? And I wonder if that was a critical hit. And it actually turned out to be a critical hit with 0 attack in IVs, right? So that's pretty much it. I'm salty, but it was a close battle after all. Thank you for that one, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.